guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Annie. Some of you may know me as the Sleeved Khaleesi on my weight loss Instagram page, so if you're new here, welcome. Yeah, lots of people have been having lots of questions about my weight loss surgery, and most people don't know that I actually had it in Mexico. Ooh. Yeah, so it's like a big reveal. A lot of my Instagram followers do know I had it in Mexico, and that's actually why I wanted to make this video, was because there's so many questions people have, and it's a really scary subject, honestly. Like, I mean, I was terrified and completely refusing to even consider it when it was presented to me as an option. So just kind of wanted to talk about it and clear the air and talk about my experience, and maybe my journey will help you influence your own decision. So let's get started. Why Mexico? There's a whole can of worms involved in me having gone to Mexico for my surgery. I know it's definitely not ideal, and it's really scary, and it's not easy, but neither was my path that got me there. One of my friends had gotten weight loss surgery here in Chicago, where we live, and my initial reaction was jealousy, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I cannot believe she got it done. And then I realized, like, why do I feel like that? And it's like, because I'm jealous. Like, we're the same age and, like, you know, similar lifestyles. And, like, I was like, you know, if she can do it, I can do it. So, you know, I'm really thankful and grateful that she helped me realize that it was something I could do, because at the time I was in a pretty toxic relationship with a man, and he was completely against it, and he made me feel like it was impossible, and like I'm like pathetic loser if I would do it, and like, you know, I'm lazy, and like I'm taking the easy way out, and that's what everyone thinks, and that's what my family even thought, except for my sister. But the majority of my family, like my brother, and some extended family, like, they were just not about it, and it really kind of like made me be like second guess my decision. But I knew deep down that I wanted to do it, hence the jealousy I felt when my friend had told me she did it. But like I said, I turned that jealousy into productive planning to get me there. So she helped me a lot getting there, so I'm really grateful for that. But so I started going about the process of getting like pre-screening and insurance and all that. And I had Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, and it was amazing insurance coverage. But halfway through my process for approval and all the bariatric visits and follow-ups, and I had to do like blood work and all this stuff, and I was laid off, and like boom, like that, my weight loss surgery dreams were shattered because I lost my insurance, obviously. And I mean, it was unexpected, completely unexpected, and I'm very fortunate that I was given the opportunity for a new job only a month later. My insurance coverage didn't start for 60 days, so I was just like, okay, I'll be on hold for my weight loss surgery. Oh, for the record, me and the toxic man I was dating, we broke up finally. It was messy and awful, but so I felt like it was full steam ahead with getting my weight loss surgery with no judgment, and I was just like, fuck yeah, we're doing this. So once I got insurance coverage at my new job, which I love, and it's United Healthcare PPO, but I found out and I was devastated. They did not cover weight loss surgery whatsoever, like not any percent. It even said that in my benefits. That was like the first thing I checked when I was getting my benefits taken care of. Said no weight loss surgery of any kind for any reason, nothing. I was shook, to say the least. I called my insurance company, I spoke with HR, I was really trying to deal with it and see if there was any other insurance I could get, and they were just like, no, you can't, that is what it is. Now, they did cover bariatric related wellness visits, so like, you know, checkups and blah blah blah, but what would that matter if I couldn't get the actual surgery, you know? So I was very defeated and upset, and I was just going through a really hard time in my life. My dog had passed away, I had broken up with the guy, and like we were really serious, so it still took a toll on me, and I was just really big. Like, I had gained like 30 pounds when I was with him, and then I was in a deep depression from getting laid off, and just so much life change, and I was just like, forget this, like I don't have time to think about this shit, like I can't. But so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn this, you know, lemons into lemonade. I'm gonna try my best to do this shit on my own. So I invested in a personal trainer. I actually got a Groupon. It was for 312 Athletic Club in Wicker Park. Check them out. Shameless plug, because they're great. Like, amazing. They just do amazing work, and I really loved it. And I was also trying to work on my diet, and as it happens, I had unexpected emergency wisdom tooth removal, and I was on a pure liquid diet for 2 weeks because of how bad it was, and I lost like 10 pounds in that 2 weeks. I only had Premier Protein and water and like ice cream, like Halo Top ice cream, but I was like, you know, I think I could do this, because doing that made me, like, that limited diet and while still enjoying my life made me realize, like, you could do this, you know, like, maybe you really could live your life without food being the event. Because that was also always a reason why I didn't want to do weight loss surgery, because I felt really scared. Like, food is my life, like, drinking and, like, being social, and, like, all my family, like, no one's really, like, super fat. Like, I'm definitely the biggest, but, like, we're, like, big people. Like, food is the celebration. We do food for fun, food for sad, like, food for events, food for holidays, like, all of that. So I was just really scared, and that's why, like, part of me was almost relieved that I couldn't get the surgery, because it's like, oh, well, you tried, you can't do it. But I was trying to do it on my own, and I was feeling really down on myself, because I was like, this isn't working, like, I'm not, it was just so hard, because I definitely battle with, like, I have a food addiction problem, and it's completely based in, like, trauma from childhood and lots of stuff that I've been through, and I've learned that I use food to self-soothe. And so it's like, I eat when I'm sad, I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm worried, and I wish I was one of those people that could just not eat and be like, oh, I'm so sad, or I'm so whatever, I just can't eat. It's like, nope, I'll eat anything. And I was fucking reckless. Like, I was having a bad day, and so I'd stop and get Taco Bell on the way home and get whatever I wanted, and then I would pick up a whole fucking pack of double stuffed Oreos and a thing of milk, and I would literally eat the whole package while watching, like, Orange is the New Black. I remember it was, like, so fun to me. That's like 2,500 calories, and just the Oreos. That does not count everything else I ate that day. And I remember even having thoughts like, oh, you know, I might gain a pound today from this, but, like, it's just, I need it. And it's just like, no, bitch, you don't. You do not. But that's the thing. That's why I felt like, you know, with all these haters telling me, like, oh, like, you don't need it, it's easy way out. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I literally always feel hungry no matter what. And I do have bipolar, and I've been diagnosed for the last, like, 7 years. And I've been through hell and back with so many different medications. And if you are familiar with bipolar, you know that so many, if not all of the medications cause weight gain. And science is not able to prove why that is. But it's a fact. I had gone on Depakote, which is, like, it was amazing. Like, I never felt better emotionally and, like, mental health wise, but I gained 85 pounds in a year. And so it was like any weight loss efforts I had in the past, I had lost weight, like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, like, big whoop, but then, like, gain 85 pounds for my psych meds. And it's just so depressing, and it's so hard. And people always say it's the easy way out, and they don't fucking know shit. Like, they don't know. It's your life. Like, it's your decision. Like, if you think this is right for you, and you really are serious, and you think about it, like, every day, like, I felt every day I would think about it, and it just made me feel like this hope for, like, a better life, because I was, like, so miserable about being fat and feeling, like, hopeless, and, like, eating makes me happy, but then the moment I finish eating, I feel so worthless and upset and sad and, like, empty and, like, just so depressed. And so that's why I was just like, I kind of have to find a way to make this happen. Like, the surgery. I was like, I need to find a way to make this happen. So I was like, I called the surgeon center, and it was Lifeway Bariatrics. I think it's in Downers Grove. It's like a suburb of Chicago. And that's where I was going for my pre-op visits when I had insurance. So I called them, and I was like, you know, I lost my job. I have new insurance. It's not covered. Is there a way we could set up a payment plan or blah, blah, blah? And they were like, no, we do not do out of pocket. We only go through insurance. No cash, no installments, nothing. And the lady was really snippy, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, really bad taste in my mouth about that, and I was really upset, honestly. But I felt boom, rock bottom, devastated. So I was looking into other options, and I do know quite a bit of people in my life. Like, I don't know them, but they're like through the grapevine, and they had Mexico surgery, and I'd be like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like, how desperate were they, and how crazy that is, so dangerous and reckless, whatever. But now I was kind of like, maybe. I mean, let's look into this, and maybe we can see if like it's something I could look into. But so I did a lot of touching base with people who had the surgery in Mexico. And my friend who had the weight loss surgery and got me like feeling like it was something I could do, she referred me to supposedly like the top bariatric surgeon in Mexico, like one of the 2 top surgeons. And it was it was from Bariatric Social. I don't know if any of you know that Facebook group, and it's like enormous and it's like super intense. And that specific surgeon had his own private Facebook group for like people who had the surgery with him or people who were interested. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I'll think about it. And I was going back and forth, and I'm super paranoid, worrywart, and I was like, no, like, I just can't do this. It's so freaking scary. Like, I'm an overthinker, and I'm such an anxious person, so I was just like, there's no fucking way on the planet I could do this. I just can't do it. And I just continued living my life, you know, content with the fact that like I can't do it. Like, I'm screwed. Fast forward a couple weeks, I had my birthday party. I was turning 29 this February on Valentine's Day, and super nice for like the first time in my life. I actually planned like a really big like adult cool party. So me and a ton of my friends, I felt so honored. Like, I had like 20 something friends there. We all went to Brando's Speakeasy, which is like a bougie karaoke bar downtown. And I got my hair done at the salon that day. I got my roots touched up. That was when I was platinum. And I bought this gorgeous baby pink, completely sequined, like princess cut strapless dress with this full tulle skirt. It looked like a ballerina. It was so beautiful. And I was like, I'm gonna look so beautiful. I'm so happy. And like did my makeup all up, and like I felt like the shit. Like, I was that bitch that night. And I felt great. But then I saw all the photos of me, like candid photos or videos of people filming me doing karaoke and all that. I literally felt sick to my stomach when I saw those photos. I was just like, I looked like a fucking, for lack of a better expression, like a fucking fat pig. Like, I was just like devastated. Like, I was like, there's no way I'm that big. Like, there's no way. And it's one of those things where like I was already big, but wearing like a big skirt with like no definition. And in my head, I felt like the prettiest dainty princess, like fairy chic, you know? And when I saw those photos, I plunged myself even back further into this depression I was feeling. And I was like, no, we're doing this. Mexico, yeah, we're fucking doing this. Like, I have to do it. This is like my destiny. And so that's when I got serious. I joined the private group for that surgeon in Mexico, who's supposed to be like one of the best, top rated. So I joined it. I was like creeping on the posts all day, every day. And Bill Yanez is the moderator, and he's like the admin guy for the hospital in Mexico for the surgeries. Super gracious, super kind, super quick to respond. So any questions I had, I would make comments, and like a billion people would comment their experiences or their opinions. And like I said, most of these women or men had the surgery already. So it's like, I'm going off of what is like a fact or whatever. And every day for weeks, I was like getting more comfortable with it, realizing that it really isn't that hard. Like, because that's kind of how I am about everything. Like, I have all these dreams, like with the most intense wanderlust for going to Europe and France and Rome. Like, those are my dreams. Like, I want to make that stuff happen. And I don't know, like, I feel like I am too scared to reach big, and that's why I never do. And I was like, no, people make this shit happen, and they look like regular blue-collar Joes just like me, you know, like people from all walks of life, like all ages, like all types of people, like, they were getting the surgery, they lived. My biggest fear, and that's always my fear with any surgery, that's why I waited so long to get my wisdom teeth out, is that you'll die from surgery, like a blood clot or on the operating table, or the surgeon's not experienced and he fucks something up inside you, just all that fear. And in the weeks and subsequent months, I think it was like a month or two before I really was like, I'm gonna do this, because it's a huge fucking deal. I'm not just gonna jump into it like I do with a lot of stuff. Like, I was like, you can't rush this. And so I had looked at a lot of other places, and I was like reading about like deaths that were happening, or like cases of like dying from whatever situation after the surgery at these other Mexican surgeons, and also situations of like contracting like crazy what is it called, infections and shit that like American like drugs, antibiotics couldn't cure because it was just too aggressive. And I was like, it's like a nightmare. But none of those were the surgeon I saw. And so the surgeon I had seen was Dr. Fraijo. It's Fraijo. And I'll post his info in the wherever I post this. At the time, it was called BariatricPal MX Hospital, and it's in Tijuana. As of now, they rebranded, and they're called Hospital BC, for I'm assuming Baja California. Because if you didn't know, Tijuana is like this far from San Diego. And so that whole area is called Baja California. So just from all that time, reading all the posts, feeling assured as I could have been. That's the thing. I'm such a worrywart that like, I was like, I'm so scared, but I need this and I'll never know. And it's like, you know, I could die at any time. Not right now, but like when I get a little older from like having a heart attack or high cholesterol or, you know, any of the tons of things that affect fucking fat people. Like, and also it's like, I'm 29. I have MS, multiple sclerosis, and I'm blessed that I am in like a very small percent of people with MS that have what's called NADA, which is no active disease activity, which means like I am just Gucci, like, and I'm fucking blessed because MS is a terrible degenerative condition that affects mobility and your vision and like just anything. And it's proven that being at an ideal weight helps with that stuff, and it doesn't cure it because it's non-curable and it's lifelong, but it helps that. And just with any, you know, just overall, like losing weight is good for any condition. So I was just like, I'm gonna do this. So without further ado, when I finally decided I'm doing this, I reached out to the booking and requested the authorization. So keep in mind, this is Mexico and it's not America. There's no weird health guidelines, and that's what's a little scary about it, but there's no there are prerequisites. So it's like I had to fill out this super, super long questionnaire. It was very detailed with medical history and my issues and blah, blah, blah. And it took like a couple days for them to get back to me. And then when they got back to me, they told me what surgeries I was approved for. Because I take so many psych meds, and also meds for MS and just whatever, the gastric bypass was like out of the question because you don't absorb as much of anything. And that's why it's so beneficial. That doesn't work for people like me that take meds because you need them to be absorbed fully to be safe. So the gastric sleeve was my only option, and that's also what I wanted. So, you know, you guys already know what the gastric sleeve is. I'm not going to explain that because you already follow me, and if you already had surgery or you're really thinking about it, like you already know the little details about what it is. But, so gastric sleeve it was, and I was like, I'm doing this. So at the time that I did it, and we're talking February 2019 was when where this was going. That surgery was $5,100 US dollars. I had to put down $500 deposit to book my surgery. And for the sake of letting it sink in and making sure I didn't change my mind and whatever, I booked it out very far in advance. This was in February. I booked my surgery for June. Part of that was also because I had just started at my new job. I didn't have vacation time. I didn't know how it was going to work. So, and I also needed to save money. So I set it for then. I had to pay the remaining balance by the time, I think 2 weeks before my surgery. So I had months to get that money together. And that is where I was a little shook, because I'm really bad with saving money and I didn't really have anything saved for this. Because like I said, I had planned on it being through insurance and covered for the most part and whatever. So I ended up taking out a medical loan with my grandma as co-signer, because she had really great credit and she passed away actually like a month after I had the surgery. So that was just like a fucking whirlwind of shit, you know. But yeah, so she had co-signed with me and I was able to fully finance the surgery that way. So I paid the surgery in full. I paid it though before I went, just in case. I didn't want to pay it early and have some shit happen or whatever. But so I had it set. I set up all the details with my job, and oh, that's the other thing a lot of people ask about. So I'm terrified of judgment as a whole. And I mean, it's like, who isn't? But it's like, I just started a new job and like, I'm so sick of the criticism of like, oh, it's the easy way out and you're lazy and you're a slob and you're this and you're weak and you're not that. So I was just like, I'm not telling them shit. I told them I'm having surgery. It's a serious surgery. I need this time off. And they were like, yeah, okay. And I had to get an override from HR because I was too new to take that much time off. But I work for an like amazing company, so they made it happen. I didn't talk about me getting surgery, none of that. And it wasn't until the liquid diet pre-op that I feel like they were sniffing out what I was doing, because it was fucking weird. I was like, for 2 weeks straight, all I drank was liquid, and I just didn't feel comfortable telling them. And to this day, I've only one of my, I work with a small team, it's only like 6 of us. To this day, I only told one of them that I did it, and he was like, yeah, girl, I knew. Like, we all know. And I was like, low-key, but they do not know I had it in Mexico, and maybe they'll find out from watching this, and I'm honestly a little shook and worried, but it's also like, what fucking difference does it make? Like, it's not like I was lying about getting surgery and took time off to go on vacation or some shit. It's like, no, I got surgery, I was recovering, and whatever. But so yeah, booking was done, all that. So then I began doing the planning. So I ended up taking 2 weeks off of work. That was for the surgery, the travel, and the recovery. And Bill at the BariatricPal Mexico told me that that's ideal. Like, that's what they want people to take off, just to be safe, because everyone reacts different with healing. And so yeah, so I took that time off. It was all squared away. So the planning. So I'm really grateful that one of my good friends at the time, she said she would go with me as my companion, because the really cool thing about the surgery at BariatricPal MX is they completely cover a companion. The only thing is they have to pay for their own meals, because mine were included in my surgery overall cost, because I'm not really eating anything, it was just drinking or whatever. So yeah, so she was gonna come with me, and we booked the hotel. So we booked the flights as well. So we flew out from Chicago to San Diego, and we went a day early to kind of just like have a fun day in California, because I've never been there and she was from there. So we had that whole day. It was honestly really fucking rough, because I was just so stressed out and I was on edge and so scared. Like, I was never more scared in my life. The week leading up to surgery, I was fucking freaking out, going crazy, like having anxiety attacks and like, you know, crying all the time and like just being a bitch, because that's what I do when I'm agitated, which is really shitty, and I'm working on it. But like, I take my issues out on people when I'm upset, you know, or scared or whatever. So my sister is just like a blessing. Like, she was really helpful, really helping me, and so were my friends. But and oh, so my friend that was going with me too, she had the surgery herself, so that was really cool that like she already knew the business, you know, like she had hers in America, but like she still had it no less and whatever. But so we booked all of that way in advance. So the cool thing about the surgery in Mexico is the place I went to has their shit together so much that they were able to, their thing is, as long as your hotel is within, I think it's like really, it has to be close to the border. So I don't remember exactly how much, but I think it was like 15 minutes or 15 miles or something like that. I don't know. But it had to be close to the border, and they would pick you up from your hotel. So this super cool valet picked us up. I was shook to death because there was like a little snafu of him picking us up, and there was like a miscommunication, but he came through. Really sweet guy. He took our luggage for us, and he loaded it up, and we took the ride. It was like a half-hour ride from San Diego to the Mexican border. And we had entry point at Tijuana. Keep in mind, obviously, you need a passport and or a like the Mexico Canada like travel card. It's like, it looks like an ID, but it's like for passage through. It's actually easier, is what they told me, to have that as opposed to a passport. So I have both. So provided that to them. Getting through the border took all of like, I don't know, 10 minutes. It was easy peasy, no problem. I've heard some people get held up longer, but you know, I guess the driver was telling us that like medical tourism is like a huge thing, and that's what they call it when like Americans go to Mexico to get procedures like dental, weight loss surgery, etc. And they even have billboards up for that shit. I was like laughing when we were driving once we were in Mexico. And then the hospital was only like 15 minutes in from the border patrol or border whatever. And it was a stark contrast. Like, America, Mexico is so different, and I've never been anywhere like that. So like just palm trees everywhere, and like lots of like dead grass, and like it's just very different, and it was weird. And I was anxious, but I kind of felt that level of like zen when you're just like, this is happening, there's no reason to be scared. So we drove to the hotel, or sorry, the hospital. It's very small, but very clean and very like nice. Like you could tell they were like trying to ease you, and they were playing like ambient music in the waiting room, and I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, like, you know, liability waivers and like all this crazy shit. And I was like, oh, I'm scared, but I was filling it all out. There was nothing wrong, nothing amiss. I was just shook and scared because I'm a fucking scared bitch, like with that kind of stuff. So, yeah, they checked us right away, put me and my friend into my private room. So the rooms aren't all private from what I've heard. I just lucked out in the fact that there wasn't that many people booked for that weekend. So my companion got to sleep in the bed next to me instead of on like the companion couch, which I heard is like uncomfortable. But there was like self-controlled air conditioning. There was like total room service type service. They had a kitchen on site where they would make my friend the meals she requested, and she had to pay for them. And they had Netflix, and that was super cool. It was really chill. We were like watching movies that were like calming, that I love, like Princess Diaries and Sex and the City and stuff like that. But that day was when my surgery was scheduled, and I was fucking freaking out, and I was like, is there something you can give me, like whatever. And they were like, yeah, we'll give it to you like before the surgery. So my surgery was at 12 noon, and we got there at like 10. So they did a bunch of pre-work. Like they made me do like oh god, I don't remember what they had me do. Oh, EKG, like the heart thing. They didn't do any blood work on me, but I've heard some people do blood work. I don't know, but they had me put the gown on, and like and a nurse came in and like washed me with this like antiseptic orange dye stuff all over my stomach. And they put an IV in me too, and I hate IVs, so I was just like, oh, I hate this. And so yeah, and then the surgeon came in to meet me, and oh my god, I'm like getting the chills remembering this because it's really rough. It's like hard, it's stressful, you know. And it's like I had an amazing experience, but it's still traumatic nonetheless. Like I can't lie. And so, because you're in another country, you know, and it's like everyone was so sweet and so nice, but only the doctors and the valets spoke English. The nurses spoke very, very little English, so it was just like scary. It's scary, you know, and like hospitals suck no matter where, so it's like, But so the surgeon came in, introduced himself, we chatted for a bit, he explained the procedure, it made me feel really good, and he told me that the anxiety pill that they were going to give me to knock me out will make me feel like I drank like a whole bottle of tequila. And I was like, I fuck with that. Let me get that. But so they gave that to me while they were like wheeling me in to the surgery. And I was so fucking scared. But when they gave me that, it was like I was out, like higher than a motherfucker on whatever they gave me. I think they gave it to me in an IV. And I feel like I don't even remember what happened next, because the next thing, you know, they put the mask on me and they put like this little tube in your nose. And I remember I kept tweaking because it was very uncomfortable and scary, because it was like a tube in my nose blowing air in or whatever. But then they were bitching at me to like stop messing with it, but I was so anxious. And they put the mask on me. I started breathing. Next thing I know, I open my eyes. I'm done. I'm in the operating room, like where they put you right after surgery, the observatory room. They had it like dark, like dimly lit. There was a ton of ladies around me, like the nurses doing their little stuff. And when I came to, I literally was like, I'm alive. I'm alive, because that was my biggest fear, was that I was going to die on the fucking operating table, because I kept hearing horror stories and I was terrified. And when I woke up, I literally was like, I'm alive. And I was high as shit on whatever it was that they gave me in painkillers. I started screaming, like, help me, where am I, help me, am I okay? But what was funny is, like, y'all know I'm a Titanic hype bitch. And do you remember at the end of Titanic when Jack had died and Rose was like freaking out and she was like, come back, but she couldn't talk? Like, that's how I felt when I woke up from surgery. And I guess that's because they put that crazy tube down your throat so it makes your throat super raspy, and I couldn't talk. So I was freaking out. I was like, help me, like going crazy. And then the ladies run over and they were like, you're fine, what's wrong? And I was like, am I okay? And you know, I was delirious, like high as shit on whatever they gave me. And they were like, you're okay, calm down. And I kept pulling out the thing that was in my nose. And I think they gave me more sedatives because I was freaking out. But I felt no pain, definitely no pain. So after the observatory period, I think it was like an hour or so, they had me laying in there. They wheeled me back to my room, and I was just out, like laying in bed, like my friend took a picture of me, and I was really mad because I was a fucking terrible mess. But then, so I slept for a bit, and then I woke up. Immediately they wanted you to start walking around for small intervals to like prevent blood clots, you know? Oh, and they had given me these like knee-high compression stockings that are so uncomfortable because I'm so fat that like they're super tight and bunched up or whatever. And I was completely naked under the gown. So in the first day, the valets and my friend were like helping me walk just back and forth on like this rail in the hallway. Ugh, God. And like I was just so out of it, and I was also very scared. I was like, I don't want a blood clot, I gotta keep doing this. But it was so hard, I felt so groggy. So it was go back to the room, lay in bed, try to sleep, wake up, walk again, repeat. It was like, ugh, it was so, ugh, I hated it. And I was so thirsty because I wasn't allowed to drink anything for like 12 hours before the surgery. I was so thirsty. I was fucking dying, and they wouldn't let me swallow anything until the next day when I had to take a barium test where you drink the contrast barium, and then like it's an x-ray and it goes down, and then it's like a leak test to make sure that your surgery's perfect, like perfectly shaped, like that big, like a sleeve. So I wasn't cleared to drink anything until then. So the next day is when that happened, and I was being a needy ass bitch, like calling that nurse every like 2 seconds to be like, I need help, but they couldn't speak English, so like a valet would have to come and translate it, and I was just like, oh, this is so anxious. But like they took care of me though. Like when I finally was allowed to drink water, oh my God, I couldn't do it. Like it would hurt really bad. Like it was a crazy cramping, and like, but I didn't throw up or anything. I could hear a guest or patient in the next room retching, vomiting her brains out for like hours, and I felt so bad for her. She was fine though. It was just her reaction. But so it was just that on repeat. Take little walks, sleep, watch some TV, repeat. And they cleared me for like meals 2 days later, and it was just like juice and chicken broth, which I fucking hate. Oh my God, those 2 weeks of pre-op, I was like, I'm over this shit. I hate it. I don't want to ever drink this shit again. But so, and I felt hungry. Like, I wish I was one of those people talking about they don't have a craving. It's like, no, I was starving feeling, but I couldn't eat. And like, so I was at the hospital for 3 days, or 2 days, 3 days, 2 nights. So then, as part of my booking to Mexico, the $5,100 I paid included, 2 days, 1 night in a hotel, and they drove us to the hotel because there was other patients that were like, we were like a little group, and it was cute. They drove us to the Real Inn, so Realinn, Tijuana, and I mean, it was like a nice, like, you know, like a nice hotel. It was like a hotel, and yeah, so me and my friend, we shared the room. There was 2 queen-size beds. Oh yeah, also as part of the process, I had to buy out of pocket blood thinners, and I didn't expect that, and I was really glad I had enough money because they were fucking expensive. It was like $80, and we went on this like whole shitstorm trying to get them from the pharmacies in Mexico because it's like so much cheaper than it would be in America, because the day before our fly out, the hospital organizes a complimentary tour of Tijuana and like downtown Tijuana. And we got to go to lunch at like this fancy restaurant, and of course all we could have was like strained soup, and I was dying because all the companions were eating like this bona fide like high-end like Mexican food. I was dying. I was so hungry. But so that was a tweak. I didn't think I'd be up and running and ready to walk, like, experience Mexico. Like, I just had surgery, you know, but it's like, don't get me wrong, I felt like very chill and like winded, and I was just so anxious. Like, I felt so homesick. Like, the weather was shit. I was really pissed because it was the first week of June is when we went, and like, I'm from Chicago, and we were having shit, cold, rainy weather, and I was expecting Mexico to be this like beautiful little mini vacay, like 70, 80 degrees and sunshine. No, it was cold, fucking rainy, and shitty and gloomy in Mexico. So that just like did not help how I was feeling, and I was just not having it. We did like a beach promenade, we did like a downtown tour of Tijuana, like we got the lunch, like I said, and I can't lie, like I was not feeling it at all. I think it was just because I was homesick and I felt like shit. Like, I was hungry and I was thirsty, and anytime I did drink water, I'd get crazy cramps, and I'd be like, like, it was just so terrible. And like, yeah. And so I was just done. I'm a very like, I'm like an introverted extrovert, and I feel like I'm primarily introverted, and having to spend that much time with people, and also even my friend, and like, it makes me really, really fucking sad to like be on some real shit. Like, I am like very antisocial, as it seems, and my friend who went with me is like one of my best friends, and like, I just felt like I turned into a different person after that experience because I just felt so agitated all the time, and like spending that much time with someone, and like, you know, when you love someone but like you need space, and like they're not like a romantic partner, so it's different. And like, I was just like, my dog just like photobombed. But I don't know, like, I was just going through shit, man. And like, I feel really bad about it. And me and her kind of had a falling out because of it, which we still have to kind of like address, because she did so much for me. And like, I'm so fucking grateful. Like, what kind of friend would go with you to another country, like, just to be your support, you know? And like, I feel like a piece of shit for that. And like, I'm still trying to process it and get to the bottom of like my issues before I'm able to bring that up and have a good chat with her about it. But I just think the surgery is just too fucking much for me. Like, it's a big deal. Like, I feel like you think you're ready and you're just not. Like, your life's changed. Like, everything about your life is different, you know? And like, kind of all that just came crashing down to me like after the surgery and like getting ready to go home. And like, so right after that, the valets from the hospital drove us back to the airport in San Diego. Side note, rewind, I forgot. The night we stayed at the hotel, one of the nurses from the hospital had to come. This was complimentary for every one of us that had the surgery. We were all staying in the hotel, to teach me how to do the blood thinners on my own, because when I got home, I had to keep that up for like a week, and it's like, gross, because they're like giant syringes, and like, you have to push them in your stomach, and it's just gross. I hate it. But, So she taught us how to do that. And then, so yeah, fast forward back to the valet taking us back to the border. That was really nervous and like sketchy as hell. And like, oh my God, in Mexico, they have like these giant like camouflage Humvees with like dudes wearing like camouflage with giant fucking assault rifles. And they're just like chilling. Like, it's a culture clash, y'all. Like, culture clash. And like, Tijuana's kind of scary and sketchy. Like, it is not some resort. It's not Punta Cana or whatever you call it. Like, it's don't expect that. Like, expect an experience for sure, but if you go to Tijuana, like, expect to be underwhelmed. Like, I mean, I bought a lot of souvenirs for my family and friends and shit, and like, they were really nice people, but it just felt kind of seedy to me. Like, I was very uncomfortable, but knowing what I was gaining from this experience, and I think that's another reason why I was so homesick and wanted to get the fuck out of there, is like, I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home and like be with my dog and my sister and like my bed, you know? But so we got driven to the airport, and then our flight was delayed by like 6 hours, so we fucking sat at the airport for hours. And then finally we got on the plane, went home, flight came in extra late, and that was that. So we got home, and that was it. And so I had another 10 days left of my vacation time, because that whole experience was like 4 days. So when I got back, my healing process started to begin. So I had already planned ahead and had all my shit prepared, like all my clear liquids. And that was same thing as pre-op. For post-op, the first couple weeks it's like clear liquids, and then you can graduate to like real liquids like protein shakes, and then eventually you can whatever. I was having a lot of strained soup. Protein shakes were not sitting well with me in the beginning. Now I can drink them and it's fine. I was having lots of popsicles, and just lots of water, sugar-free Gatorade. I was also honestly drinking like regular Gatorade and vitamin water just to get calories in, because it's like you can barely drink. And the first couple weeks of my recovery was fucking awful, because I wasn't in pain, but I was so dehydrated and like I felt terrible, but I couldn't drink enough. So like, and I also was having crazy chest pains, like here on my side. Like if I would walk too fast, it would be so bad, like a sharp pain. I'd be like, like when I'm walking and stuff. But, I had a complete follow-up with the Mexico doctors via email, and in very like urgent cases, they would call me. And I'm a worry-wart, panicky-ass, thirsty-ass girl, so like I would be like, oh my God, I'm scared, like please call me, because like I'd have elevated heart rate every now and then, and it was nothing, but I had to buy like the take-home kit from like Walgreens. You put your finger in that tests like, test your blood rate. And I was fine, but I was just so scared I'd have like a blood clot or like whatever complication, but I was fine. Thank the Lord Jesus, thank you, because I was fine. Some people aren't, but so yeah, I made sure to walk every freaking day, even though I felt like shit and just wanted to sleep. It's like, no, you have to walk at least every hour to make sure your blood clot chances are lower. And yeah, I just recuperated, tried to drink. Oh, another thing I actually got me really good was the clear Premier Protein drinks, because I mean they have like this weird dry consistency to them, and like but it was a nice change of pace, like from all the other shit. Like I don't ever want to drink chicken broth again in my fucking life, like no. But so, I mean, I guess that's it. I went back to work and everything was normal. Like, I did not really feel any pain at all. Like, I would feel weird, like, tenderness. Oh, and, like, my incisions were gnarly. I have 5. They have healed beautifully. My surgeon took fucking care of me. Like, I don't have these, like, gross, like, crazy scars or whatever. Like, at this point, I'm 3 months out. You can barely even see them. It's beautiful. I was told to not clean them after the first week. They're supposed to just heal on their own after the first week. And before then, I was cleaning them twice a day, with an antiseptic spray they had given me in Mexico. It was also cute. They gave me like this really thick like coffee table book about like bariatric surgery and me and like how am I gonna live from now on. And they also sent me home with like a bunch of like like Mexican brand hydrating drinks and stuff, and like protein powder, and I thought that was cute. So I have all that. And so yeah, I mean, I guess that's that in a nutshell. My family freaked the fuck out when they found out I was in Mexico, because I can't lie, I didn't tell them. I told my dad, but I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my brother, I didn't tell his girlfriend. I only told my sister and a couple friends, because I was like, they're gonna try to stop me. And when my brother did find out, I would have stopped you. And I was like, I know, that's why I didn't tell you. It was reckless, but it wasn't reckless, because it's like, I needed it. And ever since I did it, no fucking regrets at all. Like, I would do it again, all over again if I had to. Like, the best decision of my life. I've lost 50 pounds in the last 3 months. And that's from, yeah, 3 months, 50 pounds. Like, it's amazing. And now that I have no dietary restrictions, it's honestly getting a little harder, because it's easy to kind of like slippery slope into possible bad habits. But it's like, no, we're doing this shit. We're getting it done. And I'm just so happy. Like, I feel like I had a second chance at life, and I wake up every day feeling just like good. And like, when bad things happen, or like guys, you know, don't want to go on dates with me and they cancel them, or like, I'm just like, fuck it. Oh well, life's good. Like, when in the past, like, I had such low self-esteem because I hated my life, and like, I was just so sad all the time, and like so negative and so mean, because I was just like the Grinch, like taking out all my frustration with myself and pushing that onto people. And it's just like, I'm just doing so good. And also, I have 2 therapists. I have one for normal emotional and like psychological shit. I've had her for 5 years. But a month before my surgery, I sought out a food addictions specialist therapist. So I was seeing her every week leading up to surgery, but now I see her every 2 weeks, and I think absolutely you should do that. So yeah, I mean, that's my Mexico journey in a nutshell. If you have any more questions, definitely let me know. I just really wanted to be thorough with this video, so I know it's kind of long. It always seems to be long. But yeah, the long story short, it was $5,100 all included for everything in Mexico. So that was the surgery, the meds, the take-home care, the hotel that they booked for us, and the travel to and from the hospital. Extra pocket cash was needed for souvenirs, tipping the valets, and then, you know, we had booked our own hotel and flight. The hotel and flight overall, because we bought it so in advance, I think it was like $500 per person. So $5,500, however much, to change my life. If I would have had surgery in America out of pocket, they were quoting me like $30,000. Like, are you fucking joking? Like, most people's copay with American insurance is about $4,000 anyways, $4 or $5,000, depending on your insurance. But so, because it's Mexico, you don't got to go through all the requirements. Like, they make sure it's safe and like whatever, but like, you don't have to do all these stupid like authorizations and document like your weight loss efforts and blah blah blah. It's like, nope, you pay for it, you get the surgery, and that's that. So I personally would not recommend anyone but who I saw. So again, that was Dr. I think his name is Dr. Illan Fraijo. The hospital is now called Hospital BC. I will also link, I'll tag them in the post that I'm making on Instagram for this. So I hope you liked it. This little video. If you need anything else, just please hit a girl up. Let me know. Like, subscribe, let your boo know how you felt about this. All right. Bye.